President, will you tell Russia not to meddle with the gratifying election? What about the Ukrainians?
And that was Donald Trump meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin and telling him not to meddle, but not in the tone I just said it. Instead, he was laughing and Putin was laughing, and it was a great joke. You're a comedian, actually, Brett. How good of a joke was it?
So good.
I thought it was funny.
This is not a laughing matter. That's how funny it was. It killed. I'm just happy he solved it. He did it.
He did do it.
He did it. He was asked to whether they'd meddle, and he basically told him not to meddle. So now it's not a problem.
Yeah.
This is one of those moments where it's like I didn't learn anything new. It's just like, oh, it stinks more like fart in here, but it already stank like farts before.
Yeah. Now it's the same smell, but it's moister and warmer.
And I can smell like a specific food they ate, but I was disgusted before, and now it's like that plus like, I don't know, falafel.
Yeah,
like you're just like, ugh.
Look at the smile on his dumb fascist face.
But what is he supposed to do?
Well, here's the thing that I learned. Donald Trump is basically a genie. If you're going to wish something, you have to be very specific or he'll screw you over.
Right. You
care.
didn't say it in a way people would pay attention to.
Yeah. Don't mock the idea that the American people should be able to depend on the fact that their vote will actually be counted and will matter for choosing their elected representatives.
Right. Here's what is specifically wrong with it. He, in doing this like strange half resign, like don't meddle in the election, what he wants to do is be like, all right, what do you expect me to do right now? Get up and be like, you sir, with fire and damnation I say, do not meddle in my elections. No, he's like, don't meddle in our elections. What am I supposed to do? But in doing that, he acknowledges just how little he cares about this and how weak he is. He doesn't stand up to a guy that everyone knows is just a bully fart.
Yeah, here's the thing. Could you defend the security of American elections with 1/10 the vigor that you defend a drone that got shut down? Like if you can get pissed off about that, if you can get all like, oh, I'm gonna do something, I'm like, can you pretend that it matters? And we know that it doesn't. As you said in the beginning, this isn't news. We know that he doesn't care. We know that he's blocked any both internal or international efforts to do something to make sure that Russia or China or whoever doesn't mess with our elections. And by the way, I know that it's not often stated, but if an international actor can do it, a big corporation, a tech company could do it hypothetically. They've got the expertise, they got the manpower and the money. Like we should worry about all of this, but we have put into power people who feel like for whatever reason, a lot of people just have this weird block where if you talk about anything related that seems like it has something to do with the 2016 election or Trump or Russia, all their sense goes out the door, all their values go out the door, and you're not allowed to talk about any of this. But I care about elections, and so I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, I think he could say things like, oh, he can try. But we have put things in place to keep that from happening. But he can only say that if it's true, and he hasn't.
Yeah. Here's my solution: get him out of office. That's the best way to do it. It's just a little bit harder to do it when he's gonna have the sort of help he's gonna get. But there's a second video, so let's move on. They had other fun things that they talked about.
You don't have what I live in Russia. We have. You don't have. You might have. We just sit out.
So there you had the president joking about the fact that he has to deal with fake news and Russia doesn't have it, and Vladimir Putin reassured him, no, I hate the media too. And maybe they do. I don't know what the situation with fake news is like in Russia, but I know that they have a different solution to the problem of fake news, and that is that the Russian government has killed literally dozens of journalists over the past decade or so. We don't have time to go through all of them because they've killed and locked up so many journalists, but let's just mention a few. Freelance journalist Anastasia Babarova was shot and killed back in 2009 on a sidewalk in central Moscow as she attempted to intervene when a human rights lawyer, renowned for his work on abuses in Chechnya, was also murdered by a masked gunman. Now, to be fair there, they were trying to kill human rights lawyers. They just happened to also kill a journalist, so we do have to be fair. Mikhail Beketov suffered brain damage and lost a leg after a brutal assault in 2008 following his reporting around a campaign against a highway project in Moscow. He was in a coma for several months and spent more than 2 years in hospitals. He died 5 years later. His attackers were never found. It's weird, the attackers are never found, oddly enough. One more, Kadza Murad Kamalov, founder of a newspaper in Russia's North Caucasus, critical of authorities, was gunned down outside his office. I'm not gonna even attempt to explain that name. In December of 2011, Kamalov's leading independent weekly paper, Chernovik, has reported extensively on police abuses. His killers were also never found. We could do a whole show where we just read about the details of journalists and activists and lawyers who have been murdered for their activism. But it's fun to joke about when you're with Trump.
Right. So for all of Trump's speech about freedom of speech and his defense of the First Amendment when it comes to censorship of his fans, also in that First Amendment guarantees the sanctity of the press.
Yeah.
So that is a wild hypocrisy there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that love to pretend that they hate censorship, they hate violations of free speech rights. And I've noticed that in general, they only bring it up when it potentially could directly impact their financial bottom line. But if you are not going to advance progressive values of defending literally the lives of people who are trying to shed light on these sorts of things, then I don't think you care about freedom of speech as much as you think you do.
And just one quick thing, Maythal Hassan referred to this on the main show yesterday, but it bears repeating. It's that part of dictators and fascists is weirdness. It's joking, is he serious? Because if someone said, hey, I'm gonna take people's rights away and I'm gonna do it with a straight face and I'm starting now, you would be like, that's insane. But it's incremental, and so Trump is
Unless
able-
it's an out group,
well,
they're
Trump,
okay with that.
Right, Trump benefits from this ambiguity of whether he's joking or not, to communicate and dog whistle to certain groups who take it as serious, but then also to the press who see a president and have some kind of respect for the legacy of their job. They let him get away with it. And if we keep letting him get away with it, we run the risk of ending up in this fascist state. And in the meantime, he's perpetrating this gross hypocrisy that undermines the First Amendment to the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, I agree. He needs us to eventually be like, it's just jokes, it's the same jokes, let's not talk about it. It's just so much.
He did it 2 days ago.
Should we really keep talking about it? And some people have been lulled into that false sense of normalcy. And the thing is, maybe we're wrong. And maybe he won't go as far as we're worried. I would rather freak out for a couple of years and not have our country descend into fascism rather than just be like, well, I don't want to seem like I'm bothered all the time.
Right, and it's for your own mental, it's all right, John, don't overreact.
That's how bothered I am. I feel like flying.
I just want to say that I listened to a speech aired in its entirety on Fox News of Trump to a religious group. And in that, he mentioned how these people won't let me joke around. He goes, these are the two things in a row. One, they won't let me joke around. You have to smile big, he says, and show that you're joking. They can't take a joke. Anyways, these Democrats, they are allowing a baby to be born. They swaddle it, then they kill it.
Yeah.
So he is saying, he's doing exactly that. Give me some leeway with the truth because I might be joking, and then he's lying.
Then lying.
And he can't
Over and
do
over
that.
and
He cannot be allowed to do that.
I agree. Thank you for watching this clip from the Damage Report. For more content from the show and access to TYT Network members-only exclusives, go to tyt.com/Brooke. Wait, no, it's tyt.com/John. Go to tyt.com/John to sign up.